Hi everybody, welcome to Reality Buzz TV. We are still continuing to talk about the widows, you guys. We call them the widows because they call themselves the widows. So don't say, you can't really use that word. If they use it on themselves, we shall call them the widows. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the word, okay? The show itself is called Widows Unveiled. So we are continuing with the review of episode 10, you guys, because it was packed. It was a packed episode. It's almost like they did the whole season, and then in episode 10 they realized, guys, listen, we are doing a reality show, but now this is becoming more real than it is a show. Can we give them a show? And they decided to give us all of the show in episode 8, episode 9, and now it's episode 10, okay? So episode 10 was a lot more packed than episode 9. Now, you guys, listen. They went to Lesotho, did the activities. They were shading Fundiswa. She tried to speak up and say, guys, listen, I can't be myself with you guys. And the other one was looking at the window. The other one was saying she was annoying. Fundisi did the pajama party, everything. They did the last dinner. And the producers were hoping that dinner was going to be the one that brings the drama, like we normally get on Real Housewives. Because you know, on Real Housewives, we always have dinners, but they always fight at the dinner. But Fundisa was like, no, not today, Satan. You are not going to use me like that. So when Fundisa, who is also the producer on the show, says to Fundisa, don't you want to say something? Fundisa was like, I've got you, okay? She says, listen, Mpo, I want to address you, okay? Mpo is there shaking, waiting for Fundisa to say this big thing, and then Fundisa is like, no. Not the other thing, okay? Because with the other thing, I'm waiting for you to come to me, but this is what I want to say to you. I am sorry that when we were at Mahalis, we were playing a game, things did get said and whatever and hurtful, so I'm sorry about that. Everybody's looking like, are you only want to say that? She's like, yeah. So now, since nobody wants to mention in the Baye affair, it ends like that, okay? Dinner ends like that. It's all positive. Mpho is like, I'm no longer there, whatever. She does this long speech instead of just saying, I accept your apology and move on, because you know that you owe this woman an apology if you dated her man while she was in her marriage with her man. You were the salt, you know? Not even the fine salt, you were the rough salt in their relationship. So now they went back home, okay? The producers look at the show, the whole season, they're like, guys, there's something a short die on this show, okay? And one of them probably said, because you know what, who's in a short die? The only interesting thing that happened with this season was that Fundiswa accused Mpho of having an affair with, with her husband. But we never got any confrontation between the two. Nobody ever sat down and confirmed it. Okay. Then one of the producers, who is Mrs. M, is like, listen, I know who's Lentesti Fundiswa ayikho. Okay, because obviously she's taking his side liga Mpho. Okay, so they sit down and they say, you know what? Because this scene that I'm going to talk about here was shot 4 months later. They shot the show, they finished, they think they are finished, and then 4 months later they come together just to shoot this scene. But the thing about this scene is that the main character here, this scene is not there. Okay, so they decided, you know what, let's just get one more scene that is going to make this show at least end with a bang, kind of. Okay, so 4 months later, Mrs. M calls Fundiswa and also calls Usigelelwa, but she forgets to call the member, okay, of the cheatation. Hello, Mr. Malef was not cheating alone in that cheatation, okay? So, I guess she called him Mpho, declined an invitation. I'm like, why did they even have that dinner? So Fundiswa shows up, respectfully so, because obviously, even doing the show, she was invited by Omama Panto. So when she says, come to lunch or dinner, whatever it was, she comes. And Sigalelwa as well, she comes. They get there. Fundiswa is like, okay, what is this about? Because even if she thought it was going to be about the Mpho situation, now she's thinking, but where is Mpho? Okay, they sit down, you guys. It's a nice place. I think they had rented the place out because they were like, okay, there's going to be drama here, so let's not have a lot of people in here. Okay, now Lerato Mrs. M starts to speak and say, listen, something happened before we went to Lesotho. Okay, remember, you guys, Fundiswa doesn't know ukuthi the conversation she had with Ziyakhala, Mrs. Ngubane, had already been told to Mpho, not just Mpho, but it was told to Mrs. M. Okay. So now, when Mrs. M says, remember before we went to Lesotho, something happened. She's like, what happened? Only when she starts to explain to Mrs. M, and then she's like, oh, okay, it's about that. Okay. Now, Mrs. Molefe, who is Fundiswa, asked, okay, so where is Mpho? Okay, listen, they say Mpho was not ready. She even says in the diary session she was not ready to do this whole sit down. Okay, and she still wanted to process things. I'm like, what are you processing? Because all the payments in the bank from Mr. Molefe were processed and they paid for the car. So what are you processing? Okay. Allegedly. Okay. I'm like, all the payments were processed. There's nothing else to process. Mr. Molefe is no longer living. Okay. And then she declined the invitation. She says in the diary session she declined the invitation because, of course, you know, she just listened to her spirit. Okay. Her spirit was telling her not to go. She says, you guys, that she was feeling like if she goes, especially with her and Mrs. M and Ziyakhala, then Fundiswa was going to feel like bazomlanda. It's like, girl, sizokubuza ngiyakhumbula esikoleni guys uhlebelani ngami, you know, kind of a situation. I'm like, I wonder if you listened to your spirit before you took a car from a man who was married, if you did, you guys. Because listen, since episode 8, episode 9, episode 10, like, I'm getting more and more convinced that Mpho must have had an affair with Mr. Molefe, because she's definitely not denying it enough, and she's definitely not willing to give us the receipts, because we have been waiting for the receipts, and trust me, if you give us the receipts, we will post them. Okay, we will talk about them, and then we will go back to Fundiswa and say, Fundiswa, why did you lie? Or Fundiswa, now did you see what this woman is innocent? But she's not giving us anything. She's not saying anything. She's not giving us the receipts. Okay. So she said she listened to her gut feeling, and her gut feeling said, do not go to lunch. And I'm like, yo, I got that the gut feeling is late now. Now, you guys, fine. When Mrs. Mapazo is explaining what the meeting is about, and Fundiswa is like, okay, fine. Before I answer or before I respond, I want to know what you are here as. What is your role in this whole thing? Okay, are you here to represent Lerato? Are you here? I guess she also meant, because are you here as the boss? Because she is the boss. She's the executive producer. What is your role here in this meeting? So that if I need to respond, I respond appropriately. Because if you are sitting here as the boss of the show, of course, I don't want to lose my job. So I need to not say certain things. If you are here as my friend, then probably I will feel supported in whatever it is that you're going to go ahead and say. But if you are here as Mpho's friend, then I am assuming you are going to be defending Mpho. That is how I interpreted Fundiswa's question of, what are you here as? What is your role here? Okay. Now, she says, you know what, Mpho couldn't come and whatever, so I'm just here so that we can talk this thing out. Guys, it did not make sense, okay? It did not make sense that they called Fundiswa to come to a meeting with Ziyakhala and Mrs. M without Mpho, because who is resolving what? Fundiswa doesn't have a problem with Mrs. M. Fundiswa doesn't have a problem with Ziyakhala, or she did not know she had a problem with Ziyakhala, because it is before she knew Ziyakhala betrayed her. So it's like, why am I in this meeting? If it's about what I said about Mpho, then Mpho must be here. Where is she? Okay. Then she asks, you know, Mrs. M, did Mpho tell you that I showed her the message that she sent to my husband at Machalis, the first trip that they had? Did she tell you that I showed you the message? This is where I saw, you guys, that Mrs. M is really, really shady, because this question was asked twice, you guys. Fundiswa asked the question in the beginning of their conversation, and somewhere towards the end, when they were now fighting, she asked the question, and the answers were different, you guys. The first time she asked, did Mpho show you the messages that I'm saying she sent to my husband? Mrs. Mapanzo said no. Later on, when Fundiswa asked the same question, did Mpho show you the message? Did Mpho tell you that I showed her the message that she sent to my husband? Guess what the woman says? She says yes. I'm like, liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay? Because how do you, in the same sitting, in the same meeting, you answer the same question, yes, and then you later on it's a no. How does that happen? I'm like, this woman right here. In fact, I feel like Mrs. Mapanzo know more about the affair than we thought. She knows about the affair. Mpho has probably showed her even more messages because she probably has more messages on her phone about that affair, but they are all hiding it from Fundiswa. Instead of just giving the woman the truth, the man is gone already. She just wants closure so that she can close the chapter and move on with her life. Don't deny something that happened and say it didn't happen, because then she's not going to heal. Okay. So then Fundiswa ends up saying, you know what, it looks like you are representing Mpho, because how can you stand here and defend somebody when I am telling you that the message is on my phone? They show the message, you guys. I'll put it here. Okay. The message is on my phone, okay? And it says it's coming from Mpho. It's even written there, Mpho Shabalala, guys. The message is there. And she says, I showed this message to Mpho. She did not deny that this message comes from her. And then they go and they say, but what about the car? She says, listen, truth be told, I cannot confirm that the car that Mpho is driving is the same car that my husband bought. But think about it, okay? Mpho that had an affair with my husband was Mpho Shabalala. The certain Mpho Shabalala sends a message to my husband saying, you know what, love, you know, something like that. The same Mpho Shabalala, let's just say it's different Mpho Shabalalas, guys, for argument's sake. Okay, so my husband had an affair with Mpho Shabalala. And then another Mpho Shabalala sent my husband a message saying, calling my husband my love. And then a car was bought for someone that I think must be Mpho Shabalala, because it looks like my husband had a lot of Mpho Shabalalas in his life. And then after my husband is passed, I meet a Mpho Shabalala that is driving the same car as the Mpho Shabalala that I thought was bought a car by my husband. She's like, listen, you guys, even if I was stupid, you know, Mini Cooper. So Mrs. M tries to say, but in the beginning when we met, uzubone, you guys, because she was pretending that she didn't know about the affair. Mrs. M, she says, while they're having an argument, she says, but when in the beginning you said that the Mini Cooper that was bought was blue. I'm like, Candy, you knew about the Mini Cooper? Mrs. M, you said the Mini Cooper was blue. I'm like, how do you know about the blue Mini Cooper? Mrs. Fundiswa is saying, no, I don't know the color. I just know that it's a Mini Cooper that was bought. Okay, so for me, it's like Mpho Shabalala, calls my husband love, Mini Cooper. But she says, guys, I cannot prove it's the same Mini Cooper. I'm just connecting things that my husband bought a Mini Cooper and this woman is coming around driving a Mini Cooper. And when I show her the message that was sent to my husband, she did not deny that it was her. So now what do you want me to do? And this is what Fundiswa is saying. I am not angry with the fact that she had an affair with my husband, because my husband had a lot of affairs. This was only 200,000 that was spent on a Mini Cooper. My husband had affairs with girls where she spends millions on them. Okay, she was even scammed by certain girlfriends out of millions. Okay, so this amount is not as significant as the amount of money that we lost through my husband's cheating. Okay, this is only 200,000 rand that he had spent on a Mini Cooper. So in a big picture, the 200,000 rand is nothing. But at the same time, if Mpho sent my husband the message that called him love, I still want to know why you were calling my husband love. Why would you call my husband love if you only knew my husband through charity? You know, why would you call him love? So she's saying it's not even that she's upset about the affair. She's not like fighting with when and it's not about that. But she's saying now we're becoming friends. This is how I understand Manfundiswa. Now we are becoming friends. And I'm still having this message of you calling my husband love. What is that about? Okay. And also at the same time, you are driving this Mini Cooper that, when I also have records of a Mini Cooper being bought from our bank account. How are we going to become friends and be like honestly friends? Okay. So now you guys, because Mrs. M is trying to defend Umpo, the conversation doesn't go well because then Mrs. Mulefe, Manfundiswa, starts feeling like, okay, so you guys have taken a side, Ligampo. It doesn't matter what I say. Of course, you believe Umpo. And then she goes to Usigalela and say, with you, when I said what I said, it wasn't that I was gossiping about Umpo, but I was confiding in you. Because here is this group of women that all of us are getting to know, but I don't know who I can open up to. I trusted you enough to confide in you, And I didn't say go and tell Umpo that information. So now I feel like I don't trust you too, you guys, okay? So, listen. Umpo in the diary session, I guess they asked her about the car. Where did the Mini Cooper come from? Guys, Umpo looks as guilty as a child that has stolen sugar, and they're saying they don't know who stole sugar, but they have sugar all over their face, okay? Because they're asking her, okay, where did your car come from? I think that's what the question is. In the diary session, you have to assume what the question was because you just get the answer, you don't get the question. So she says that, what, most of the income in my household came from my husband. So when my husband passed away, I obviously have to make some sacrifices. And one of the sacrifices I made was that I had to get rid of my big car, okay? Then I bought a small car. Here is what I'm thinking, you guys. But this is gossip. I think that Umpo, Nomi and Manfundiswa, they met for charity. Probably he wanted to give to her, and Umpo is a beautiful woman, so it's easy to be attracted to the charity. So they met because he wanted to give to charity. And then when they had like conversations, Umpo was like, oh my God, since my husband passed, I'm really struggling. I've even had to sell my car because, I have to make ends meet. And then Mr. Molofe, because he was seeing a beautiful woman crying here, he was like, you know what? Really, I want this woman. We can hobuluza together. So let me buy her a car. So Mr. Molefe might have been sponsoring Umpo because remember, that boy who is Umpo's friend, the gay guy, did say that Umpo has a lot of men. So I think that she might possibly have sponsors. Because how does Umpo make money? Besides these recent projects of Mendoza's movie, Mendoza's song being played in the World Cup and all of that, how does she make money? So I do think Umpo had sponsors, and Mr. Molefe was one of the sponsors, and the car was one of the sponsorships, okay, that she got. Because listen, you guys, if I bought a car, even if I bought it in 2010, I could go to my bank and print out a statement, and it's going to show you where the money came from, and then and then how I paid for the car. It's not going to be difficult to do. So that is what I think, okay. But that is not on the show. That is just me gossiping, okay. Fine, you guys. So she turns to Siki and she tells her, Yazin, I'm very disappointed in you because that wasn't something that I was telling you so that you can go and tell Umpo. Siki defends herself to say, listen, I came around this group because Umpo brought me. So it would have looked strange to her that now she's seeing this thing being said about her and she knows that I know about this thing, but I'm not telling her, okay. I get Sigi's point, you guys, and I agree with it. It would have looked weird for Mpo. But I feel like she should have said to Manfundiswa, you know what? Since you told me this thing, it's either you really confront Umpo with it or allow me to tell her, because for me as a friend, Gampo, it's going to look weird. So that she doesn't lose that trust with Manfundiswa, but she also doesn't lose trust with Umpo. Okay. Now, Manfundiswa asked Mrs. M, okay, when you saw the message, because I need to remember at first, when Fundiswa asked her, did she tell you that I showed her the message? And she did not deny that the message came from her. She said no. The second time she asked her, did she tell you I showed her the message? Mrs. M says yes. Then Fundiswa says, okay, did you tell her it was wrong to send, at least did you tell her it was wrong to send a married man a message like this, calling him love? She even says to Sig, when I get sick, if you found a message like this on your husband's phone, what would you think? Sig is like, I would think there is something there. In fact, I would confront the person and be like, what's happening here? Why are you calling my husband love? And she's like, you see. So did you tell her it was wrong? Okay. Lo, in the diary session, I think when they asked a question, and then she said no. If, this is what she says, if Mpho sent the message, then it was wrong. But Mam Fundiswa's question is, did you tell your friend that it was wrong of her to send such a message to a married man? At most, you guys, she sent an inappropriate message. Let's just say there was no affair, but they used to talk. And that message came from Mpho Shabalala. That message was inappropriate to be sent by a married woman to a married man. Okay? But this one is still defending her friend. Okay? Now, the voices are raised because they keep on saying this thing of sisterhood. Like, especially Mrs. Mapanzo keeps saying, this is about sisterhood. You have to forgive and let go and all of that. And then she's like, listen, there's no sisterhood. And there isn't, you guys, because the whole show is about them coming together and healing. And if my healing depends on you telling me the truth about what was happening between you and my husband. And Mam Fundiswa is like, I'm not even saying I'm angry, but I am saying you can't say that what I saw on my husband's phone that is still here is not valid. Okay? So I feel like there's no sisterhood, because if you know that this woman needs closure, just that point, because she's saying she lost millions with her men cheating with girlfriends. She's just saying the amount is insignificant. But with you building a sisterhood with her, like, just give her the closure to say, listen, let me explain this message. Let me explain the relationship. Let me explain the car. Okay, so that she can heal, because you are saying it's a sisterhood. Okay, she says there's no sisterhood. Okay. She also calls Mrs. M a hypocrite, which I thought was... She is a hypocrite, you guys, because wasn't she telling us about the side chicks of a man and her men leaving every weekend to go spend time with the side chick, even though she didn't say we knew if your man is packing a bag every Friday, coming back every Monday, he's going to be with the side chick. You know, he was spending time with his girlfriends in front of his son. Okay, you went through that yourself, but you don't want to validate another woman that went through a similar experience, all because you are friends with somebody that is on the other side and is a side chick allegedly. There's no sisterhood. Okay. She also says, Fundiswa, on top of that, on top of her saying certain things about my husband and saying, because I had showed her the message and she did not deny the message, but in addition to that, she body shamed my husband. And I was like, body shamed? But she did. And I was like, yeah, it is body shaming. Because remember, Mpho was like, I would never date your husband because your husband has had a big pot belly, you know. I didn't think about it at the time, but when I thought about it, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think that Mam Fundiswa would have been hurt by that, but then I thought, okay, I guess, you know, guys, when your husband has passed, everything is just sensitive, okay? And here you are, you had an affair with my husband. Now you're saying, I will never date your husband because he has a big pot belly, but it looks like you might have taken a car from him. It looks like you might have taken money from him, but you are here telling people that my husband had a big pot belly and you wouldn't have dated him. And she says, listen, because at the end of the conversation, Mrs. M tries to say, listen, if you want, I can tell him, Paul, that, you know, maybe you guys are going to sit and talk. And Fundiswa is like, okay, while you are at that, while you tell her that, also tell her that I did not like the fact that she body shamed my husband. Okay? Because I can also body shame her husband. And we know, you guys, that she can do that. Because also Mpho's husband didn't look so good before his passing. Mpho wouldn't like it if Mom Fundiswa spoke about her husband during that time. You remember how Paul's husband was like, you guys. We remember him when he was very hot early in his career, but when he was not so well, he didn't look so good. Would she like it if somebody made a comment about that? Okay. So when Mom Fundiswa says to Mrs. M, listen, you need to tell her what she must stop. I didn't like it when she body shamed my husband. Now, Mrs. M is like, no, 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 I can't pass those messages. Then that's what got Fundiswa even more upset. It was, oh, so you can pass messages because you are here in this meeting. It looks like she sent you and she said, say this and this and this to Fundiswa. But if I tell you that you must tell her, you don't want. So you can pass a message to me, but you're not passing the message to Umpo. So where is the sisterhood? Okay. That's where things got heated, you guys. So now Mrs. M stands up because she's about to leave. Fundiswa is like, you know what? I'm also out of here. And then mean girls, guys. Mean girls. So while they're standing up, now Mom Fundiswa is like talking. Obviously, she's still heated. And Mrs. Mapanswa is about to walk out. She looks at Mrs. Ngubane. They laugh. I think that's what drove her to the edge, or Mrs. Lefe, okay, Mom Fundiswa, because she's like, you guys are laughing. Because they really laughed. They looked at each other, looked at her, and laughed. In that situation, you guys, when a woman is hurt, that nobody's validating her feelings, even when she's saying, can you tell him, Paul, that I don't like this? She doesn't want to transfer the messages, but she is bringing messages to Mom Fundiswa. Then now the conversation is off because she's like, you know what, there's no sisterhood here. And I don't want this sisterhood because I don't feel like it supports me. They look at each other, these two, they laugh. I felt like it was mean, you guys. Guys, kanti imathi wesifazane noma sebegugile baba women girls. Ngisho ukuthi nabangani bethu bama-60s nabo basesila ko-60 nabo they'll still be mean, guys. Kanti ukuphumula sikuthola nini? Guys, when are we gonna get some rest from evil friends? Even when we are like 60 something, people will still be doing that. Yeah, okay, guys, I'll just be friends with my kids, hey? Because hey, so they laugh, you guys, and then again it was almost getting physical, and she's like, "When Angie, you're a hypocrite, mom." Fundiswa, because, and I agree with this, you guys. I do think that she's a hypocrite. I think she's a hypocrite because she has gone through similar things that Mom Fundiswa is going through, and she's struggling with, say, how are you friends with somebody that is a side chick, but you were bothered by side chick your whole marriage, okay? And then also she's a hypocrite because she's able to say, no, you shouldn't have said this, you shouldn't have done this to Mpo, but she doesn't do that for her other friend who is Mom Fundiswa. But guys, umgosi is, this is just from me. Mrs. M knew about this affair even while it was taking place. You know why, ne? Because in one interview, she said that her and Mpo are friends because her friends, her kids, Mpo's kids, Mom Fundiswa's kids are all friends. But you did not know your friend was having an affair with your other friend. Really? Okay, we are supposed. So you guys, well, it didn't get physical. Arthritis if my knees are hurting at 44, I mean, imagine them, So now, Sigalelo is trying to hold Mrs. M back because now it's getting heated. What was like, when you are a hypocrite, when you look down on people, and I was like, you know what, I liked Mrs. M, but maybe it's true that she does look down on others. Okay, so that's where the episode go, you guys. I'm disappointed at these women. I'm disappointed at how they are handling Mom Fundiswa. I'm not saying Mom Fundiswa is perfect because nobody is, but I do feel like she needs to be validated in how she's feeling about the situation, and I feel like Mpo hasn't helped it. She is there. She said, you know what? I'll wait for Mom Fundiswa to come to me, and then maybe for now she's still. She said what? She's still investigating. Maybe it's too early, but I'll wait for her to come to me. I'm like, yeah, We are out here thinking you were a side chick, you know. We think you is a side chick and you're not willing to. This is like might be the last episode. I need to check if episode 10 was the last episode. Like we are out here thinking you is a white side chick and you don't think that this is the time to clarify. You want to wait for season 2, which we are not looking forward to, because I don't think I want to watch the same widows next season. I want other widows, okay? So I'm like you are willing to just let it go. Or is it because really honestly you don't have receipts that you were not the side chick? How would you do that? If you do have receipts, why are you letting that woman head for so long, thinking that you are a side chick if you're not? Just give her, the proof. Where did you get your Mini Cooper? And it also, it's possible, you guys, that she might have taken that Mini Cooper and then traded it in and take another one just so you never know. Okay. Anyway, that's how it ended, you guys. It was not my favorite episode because I thought that at least when this show ends, they will come back together, and also I think it hurts for Mom Fundiswa to constantly be saying, guys, I'm not hurt by the fact that my husband had an affair. But it's almost like she's saying, I just want you to validate the fact that these messages are inappropriate. And, at some point, I do need clarity on whether this car is the car that the husband bought. You might at most give me that if you are trying to be my friend. And I think everybody is willing to get rid of Mam Fundiswa only because she wants those answers. But what they don't realize is that us as the public, us as the viewers, even if Mam Fundiswa is not there, if they're going to do season 2, we will still want to know where the car came from. We still want to know if you were a side chick to that man, okay? Did you date a married man? We still want to know. Otherwise, we're looking at you like, maybe she was waiting for Nagwe to this one to go there and request to be wife number 2. Anyway, you guys, that's how the episode went. Yeah. It was a lot. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let's meet in the comment section so that I can hear what your opinion is on what happened with Mam Fundiswa. I guess it's Mam Fundiswa and everybody else because Mpo didn't show up. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Like it before Pumegona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Tanda.